Hello guys, welcome back. I'm Yusuf Shakeel and you are watching CSS tutorial series. In this video, we are going to learn about Pseudo Class and how to style elements using Pseudo Class. So let's get started. Alright, so I have opened brackets and now inside the project folder, I'll go ahead and create a new file and I'll save this as pseudo-class.html and I'll write the following HTML code. So we have the doc type, HTML, opening and closing HTML tag, opening and closing head tag. We have set the title for this page to Pseudo Class. Now inside the CSS folder, we'll go ahead and create a new file and we'll save this as pseudo-class.css. And now we'll include this file inside the HTML file. So inside the head, we'll write link rel and we'll set this to style sheet, href and we'll set this to css/pseudo-class.css. And now we'll open this in live preview. Alright, so Pseudo Class. We use Pseudo Class to specify the state of an HTML element. And to use Pseudo Class in CSS, we use the following syntax. We have the selector followed by colon, then the pseudo class, and then opening and closing curly brackets. Then we have some properties. So let's say some property, then colon, and then we have value for that property. Now let's start our journey by first discussing about the hover pseudo class. So let's say inside our HTML file, let's say we have a paragraph having ID sample-p1 and the content is hello world. So to target this paragraph, inside our CSS file we'll write hash sample-p1. Now let's say we want to change the color of this paragraph to red when the mouse hovers on top of it. And let's say we want to change the font size of this paragraph to, let's say, 24 pixels. So we have to write colon hover and we want red color. So we'll set the color property to red. And we want font size of 24 pixels. So we'll set the font size property to 24 pixels. And now, if we hover the mouse on top of this paragraph, its color will change to red and its font size will change to 24 pixels. So as we move the mouse on top of it, you can see the color changed to red and the font size changed to 24 pixels. So when we move the mouse on top of it, it changes. Now let's say we have another paragraph inside the body and let's say it has a class sample-p2 and let's say the content is happy. And now to target this paragraph, inside our CSS file we'll write dot sample-p2 dot because we're using a class. And let's say we want to change the color of this paragraph to blue and font size to 50 pixels when the mouse hovers on top of it. So we'll write colon hover color and we'll set this property to blue and font size to 50 pixels. And now if we hover the mouse on top of it, you can see the color changes to blue and font size 50 pixels. The next property that we are going to discuss is the first child, last child, and nth child. So let's say inside our HTML file, let's say we have a div and let's say it has a class sample-div1. And inside this div, let's say we have an unordered list and it has an ID, let's say sample-ul1. And let's say it has some list items, apple, mango, orange. And let's say we want to change the background color of the first child of this unordered list having ID sample-ul1 to, let's say, light yellow. So inside our CSS file, we'll write hash sample-ul1. Then we are going to target the list items. So we'll write space li. And since we are going to target the first child, so we'll use the pseudo class colon first-child. And we want to set the background color to light yellow. So we'll write background-color and we'll set this to light yellow. And now if you look at the output, you can see the first child of the unordered list has a background color of light yellow. And now let's say we want to change the background color of the last child, that is orange, to, let's say, light pink. So we are going to target this unordered list, and let's say this time we'll start from this div having class sample-div1. So we'll write dot sample-div1. And since this unordered list is a child or descendant of this div, so we'll write space ul, and it has an ID hash sample-ul1. And then we are going to target the list items which are descendant of this ul element. So we'll write space li. And since we want to target the last child, so we'll use the pseudo class colon last-child. And we want to set the background color to light pink. So we'll set the background-color property to light pink. And now if you look at the output, you can see the last child of the unordered list is having background color of light pink. Now let's say we want to change the background color of the second child to light green. Now in order to target any child that is not the first child or the last child, then in that case we use the nth child pseudo class. So we are targeting this unordered list having ID sample-ul1. So we'll write hash sample-ul1, and since we are targeting the list items, so space li since they are descendant, and since we want to target the nth child, so colon nth child, and we are going to target the second child, so we'll pass 2, and we want light green background color, so we'll set the background color property light green. And now if you look at the output, you will see that the background color of the second child is now set to light green. So we are using the nth-child pseudo class. Now let's say we have a div inside our HTML file, and this div has a class sample-div2. And inside this div, let's say we have paragraphs. Hello. Hi. Hello world. Happy. Hey. Now let's say we want to change the background color of all the paragraphs that are at the even position to light green, and we want to change the background color of all the paragraphs that are at the odd position to light yellow. So to target the paragraphs which are inside this div having class sample-div2, inside the CSS file we'll write dot sample-div2, and since paragraphs that we are going to target, they are the descendant of this div, so we'll write space p, and we want to change the background color of all the paragraphs at the even location to light green. So we'll use the nth dash child pseudo class, and we are targeting the even location paragraph, so we'll pass even, and we want to set the background color to light green, so we'll set the background color property to light green. And to target all the paragraphs that are at the odd position, we'll write dot sample-div2 p colon, and we'll use the nth child pseudo class, and we are going to target the paragraphs that are at the odd position, so we'll pass odd, and we want, let's say, light yellow background color, so we'll set the background color property to light yellow. So if you look at the output, all the paragraphs that are at the even place are having background color light green, and all the odd place paragraphs are having background color of light yellow. Let's discuss one more pseudo class, and that is the focus pseudo class. So let's say inside our HTML file, let's say we have a form, and let's say this form has an ID, let's say my form, and inside this form, let's say we have an input field, and the type of that input field is text, and let's say it has an ID, let's say first name, and let's say it has a max length attribute, let's say 60, so we can enter only 60 characters, and let's say we also have a label, let's say first name, and let's say we have another label and input field, and this is for the last name. So let me change the ID for this to last name. So it is also of type text, and we have max length 60, so we can enter only 60 characters. Now let's say we want hash my form, we are targeting the form, and let's say we want all the input fields inside the form to be block elements, so display block, and let's say we want to give them a padding of, let's say, 15 pixels, and let's say width of, let's say, 300 pixels, and let's say margin bottom of, let's say, 10 pixels, and let's say we want to target all the labels inside the form, and we want to set the font size to, let's say, 24 pixels. Let us also set the font size of the input field to 24 pixels, so font size 24 pixels, and let's say we want margin bottom of, let's say, 10 pixels. So we have a sample form having two labels and two input fields, and we can enter some text. Now let's say we want to change the background color of the input field when it is in focus to, let's say, light pink. So since we are going to target the input field, so we'll write hash my form. Since the input field are inside the form having ID my form, and they are descendant of the form, so space input. And since we are going to target the text input field, so type equal to text, and we want to target them when they are in focus, so we'll use the focus pseudo class, so colon focus, and we want light pink background color, so we'll use background color property and we'll set this to light pink. And now if we click on the input field, you can see the background color changes to light pink when it is in focus. And let's say we have another input field inside the form. Let's say, and this is for email. So let me change the ID to email. Max length, let's say 255. So now this rule will be applied to only input fields that are of text type. So if we focus on the email field, its background color will not change because the type of this input field is email. So to target this input field of type email, and let's say we want to change the background color of this input field to, let's say, light green. So we'll write hash my form input, and we are targeting email type, so we'll set type equal to email, and we'll use the focus pseudo class, and we want light green background color, so we'll set the background color property to light green. And now if we focus on the email field, its background color will change to light green. So for text, the background color changes to light pink. For email, it changes to light green. Alright guys, this brings us to the end of this tutorial. I'll post the tutorial notes on my website duiclassroom.com, and all the code that we are writing in this tutorial series, I'll put them in my GitHub repository. You will find all the links in the video description, so please check that out. And if you find this video interesting, then please give this video a like and please subscribe my channel. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and like always, stay happy and keep smiling. Bye.